I'm Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. I'm getting ready for ice season, and it's not all that far off because we're going to have some pretty cold temperatures. So I'm getting out my drills especially first. I'm talking about drills. Yeah, I have more than one drill, but this is my E6. And my E6, Jiffy E6, has a battery, which you always make sure that you have charged up good. The reason that I'm going to check it out is because of the fact that mice have been around it. In fact, I got a hole right in my cover. That's a fairly new cover, and they chewed right through that. It's stored out here in the shed naturally. I'm going to put that aside. But what I actually wanted to talk to you about is something new that Jiffy has, which is called a Scout. And I said I have more than one drill. Yes, I do. That's it right there. And here it is right here. I got my Milwaukee on it. And take a look at this thing. You're probably going to say, what sort of a hole are you going to drill with that? It's one-sided, it's got fancy colors on it or what have you. Well, it's called a Scout. That's right. And I'll put it here. See, it goes right here on the end of your regular old drill. And I'll tell you now what it's used for. The Scout. It's scouting your ice. You drill a hole through and you see how deep it is, and that's why this flat side, because what you do is you catch this edge right here, and there's a reason for that guard on there. That's sharp, and I'm going to leave it on there. You know that that's where it's drilling from, but you catch it right underneath this edge on the bottom of your ice, and then all of this tells you how thick it is. And they have it as to down here, they say that it's unsafe ice at 4 inches. Well, a person can go out there by themselves on 4 inches, or really with a buddy. That's the best thing to do. But I'm talking about a lone person. Yes, you can be out there. I know a lot of people go a lot less than that. Not me. I'm not going to. 4 inches is going to be the bare minimum for me, and I like to have it right up here at about 8, where they start saying that it's a little bit better. I like to have it 6 to 8 myself, especially for all the drilling and things I'm doing. But this thing can be used for more than just scouting the ice and finding the thickness. And what else would you use it for? Well, it drills a hole of 2.5 inches, and I'll show you what it can be used for. Here's my Vexilar unit right here. In fact, this is my new FLX30. And this right here, the transducer, is 2.5 inches. I haven't tried it yet. We're going to be. When we take that thing out on the ice, we're going to see what it does. And that will go in there, and so will this float. So what you can do is drill a transducer hole, separate from what you're drilling here, or whatever you got. I happen to have a 6-inch, but they come in 8s, and I don't know, I think a 9. They used to have a 9. I don't remember for sure. But anyway, it doesn't make any difference because that's your larger hole. That's the hole that you're going to be fishing through. But if you ever had your transducer in there, you get a hold of a good fish, and all of a sudden he's tangled around your transducer wire. What a pain in the hind end, right? Usually end up losing that fish, or trying to land him with the transducer cable. In this case, you don't have to. You don't have to worry about him even going to the next hole hardly and getting into there, because that can also happen. He can zip up in the hole and still get caught into your transducer. Drill one of these 2.5-inch holes. The fish is not going to come up into that, or at least not unless you're fishing for minnows or something. But it ought to work just great. I'm anxious to try that part of it out. But again, this is the Scout, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about, is it's Scout, because it's a great safety item to go out and check your depth, especially for those of you that fish in the areas where it's really, really thick and you're driving your vehicles out. You don't want to drive a vehicle out there on unsafe ice, that's for sure. And unsafe ice for a vehicle is a lot more than walking on it. That's for sure. And I think that's probably a lot of what this is set up for, too, on these colors, is for the people that fish in that real thick area. Where I fish, if we get 12 to 15 inches, we're getting thick ice, because a lot of times in our winters, we're lucky to have 8 to 10, and even sometimes 6, and sometimes none. That's right. We have times when there's next to nothing and none. We have fished open water in January in the area I'm in, but this is ideal for both things, the transducer and ice safety to check this thickness. So until next time, get out in the water and have a great day of fishing.